Ladies and gentlemen from around the world, welcome to the IR4 podcast. We got a very special person in the house today, Mr. Andy Christiansen. We're chatting about the top 10 biggest trends that are changing the workforce, talking artificial intelligence versus humans versus bosses versus micromanaging. You guys are going to love it. Thank you so much for being here. Patreons, subscribers, our YouTube channel, just people in general who are fantastic. Sammy, Jason, Tanner, giving you a shout out. Mr. Andy, thanks, man, for being here.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it. I know you're a very high in demand individual, so taking out an hour of your day is very valuable. So thank you.
Appreciate it. Can you just give everyone a brief overview of what you do, what your daily ritual encompasses with working with clients and whatnot?
Absolutely. So when I left the corporate world, I was working for a large beverage company, and I realized that I wanted to help people in the marketplace more than just get products out to people. And I don't know if I was dropped on my head as an infant or what it was, but I actually like all that stuff. You know, I wake up thinking, how can we help people get better?
Yeah.
And I think I'm technically a millennial inside, but I'm certainly not on the outside. And I think that way. Like, I think about purpose at work. I think about how can we be more, how can work be more enjoyable? How can we experience better things at work? More passion, more of what can make the company better.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of business owners really don't think that way. They think more bottom line. How can we sell more product, make more money?
Yep.
So it's really bringing all that together. And that's what I do every day, is try to influence the business owners that they can think bigger, be bolder, go bigger around the world, and not just focus on just getting one more sale.
Although sure.
Sometimes you need one more sale, but still, how can we think bigger and better?
So I did some homework, and I watched a video of yours, and you talked about the different ages, and we have actually covered this in an earlier podcast, and this is hence why we are the IR4 podcast. The fourth industrial revolution, going from agriculture, going from industrial to technological, and now where are we at? Kind of how we got into this whole topic of the fourth industrial revolution was the blockchain technology, how that's enabling connectivity and whatnot. How have you seen, now I'm only 29 years old, Jeremy's only 29 years old, how have you seen those paradigm shifts happen?
Like from first to fourth?
I guess from, industrial is way back there, but moving into the fourth, into the third, the technological, and the growth rate there, and then kind of the swing back to where we're at now.
Well, where I see where we are now is more of what we call this creative culture. Some people call it a connection culture, where everything's connected. Mm-hmm. You know, you can get an Uber in 5 minutes.
Right.
Like, who would have ever envisioned that?
Right.
So as it relates over to investing, you know, it's, what do we always say? I have a finance degree, so I know this much about finance, but it's the efficient market theory, right?
Yep.
The most inefficient market is usually real estate, meaning it takes a while for people to catch up. Now, real estate's huge today, but it's such that you can buy something at $1,000 and make $5,000. Mm-hmm. You know, where stocks are very efficient, not inefficient, meaning something happens and everybody hears about it. So it's harder to do it. That's why inside trading is so illegal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like nobody knows it's supposed to be public.
Right.
So if it's not public, it's like that. So I don't know if that answers the question about the fourth industrial revolution, but I love the concept. I love the concept because if you can predict the future, you can take advantage of something or influence something and help people out.
I'm a big fan of the quote, if you want to predict the future, create it. So going back to the creativity
even
element,
better,
which is huge.
That's Steve Jobs, right?
Yeah, it is Steve Jobs. And look what he's done. I mean, he brought in the hardware aspect into the rise of the internet. And I mean, I think the internet was the transfer of information. And I don't know how familiar you are with blockchain, but I believe the blockchain is the transfer of value.
It's the most efficient market.
Right.
Everything's open.
Everything's open source, right? And it's all secure through algorithms and coding. So, I think that's fantastic. And this was one of the main questions I wanted to ask you today because
so pumped for this.
I do think you have a bit of a.
I feel a trap coming.
No, not by no means. I feel like you have a psychological element to kind of what you do in your world. You are familiar with a little bit about cryptocurrencies.
Right.
What will allow for, because you want to talk about connectivity, like you can go talk to the developers and the creators of all these different networks, and you can get involved in their Slack or Telegram channels where you're talking with everyone. And you can't do that with the Federal Reserve. You can't do that with the Department of Treasury or all these different governments. I mean, you're just a small voice in this whole big landscape of the judicial system and whatnot. So how will there be more onboarding for cryptocurrencies, blockchain technology? How can we get more people moving into this world? Because that is a more connective, more open source. I think it's more efficient than operating in the old system. But how can we wake those people up, so to speak?
How's it happened before? Like when we went from gold to, what do we have, the silver certificates as currency goes, and then all of a sudden it moved to currency, which,
Right.
like a piece of paper, what's that worth? But it said it's backed up by gold.
Right.
But I imagine that was a similar migration.
Sure.
So I wonder how that, I don't know
Well,
the history on that.
I think from what I've studied, it's been the demand. Like there's a call for demand. So if you have all this gold you're carrying around, you're prone to theft. It's not efficient to be carrying around large, massive amounts of gold. So there was actually, and this was the creation of the Bank of England. We will hold your gold for you and give you paper slips or notes or IOUs that say you have.
It's like
this
stock in a
much.
company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
So it's trust.
It's trust.
Right?
It's trust. But the U.S. dollar is not backed by the gold standard anymore. So that piece of paper is worth the amount of piece of paper it's printed on. So I just think, I personally think, and feel free to jump in here, Jeremy. The efficiency of
I thought Tom Hanks. That was
right.
Castaway.
That's right.
Wilson, and I'm Wilson.
That's why I came. You're not Tom Hanks.
I'm not Tom Hanks from Castaway. I know. That's why I played for Halloween. I went to.
Did you really? No. You should have just carried around a volleyball with a handprint on it. That would have been great.
Man, that was a good idea. Good idea. I mean, so the thing is with the U.S. dollar, you are backed by something, right? You have the military, you have banks, you have police, you have firemen.
Sure.
I mean, you have a government, you have things and systems that you have to trust, right? So in order to adopt, and he was asking you because you're a millennial specialist, right? That's what you do. You focus on,
He's a millennial inside.
That's right. Yeah. You tell big companies, hey guys, just because they're 28 doesn't mean they're worthless, okay?
Right.
And you say you have a very valuable, very smart, very hungry
I'm pro-millennial.
workforce.
Under 35-year-olds.
So how do we get, I guess, how do we get them to trust cryptocurrencies or investing at a younger age? How do we get people in there quicker?
Man,
what has
I
to
love
happen?
this question. So really it's you said psychology. How do we get them to trust quicker?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Usually it's Costco.
It's Costco.
Yeah, it's Costco and a toothpick and a sample of food.
Ah.
And just try this.
I like it.
So,
Okay, I'm taking some things home right now.
You give. I've done a little homework on you. And you give away $5 of cryptocurrency.
Yes.
So
I like
maybe it's that or expanding that to
it's Costco.
Like schools need to be sampling some of this stuff. I mean, it's still virtually unknown.
So I have my education license. Like I'm legally allowed to teach our high
Do
school
you?
kids.
Again, I learned something new about you every day.
But yeah, in mathematics. But I do not think our education system is appropriately established right now, and it's really not changing, I think, for the better. I think secondary education is great if you're going to use the content and not go to college and drink and party and just waste your time there and waste your parents' money or the money that you're borrowing. But as far as like an investment goes, there's kids like our CFO of one of the companies I'm with, he's 18 years old and he's a boy genius, but he didn't see a calling for that. He saw a demand in this cryptocurrency or in this blockchain marketplace because the value of the labor there is more than just monetary. He's changing the world. These kids are changing the world. And I think, that's only going to be more expanding.
What are the barriers right now if you're a 25-year-old and/or barrier and/or what's the benefit
of
for
getting
them?
Involved? You can change. You can come in and change the world, the project, but you're getting access to a company that could be worth millions and millions of dollars one day. So it is a leap of faith.
But the barrier to entry is low.
Well, like I bought $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, and I don't know, 3 years ago, and I didn't know what to do with it. So I just said, I know it's going to be big, so I'm going to hold on to it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why did you think it was going to be big?
So a friend of mine said, Bitcoin's going to be huge. I said, I'm in. I'm a risk taker.
Friend, who's his friend?
The last time I heard somebody say that, they said, buy some Iraqi dinars. They're going to be huge. So I'm like a multimillionaire in Iraq.
Oh, yeah. I bet.
Did you guys ever buy into the Iraqi dinars?
I know. I've heard about it.
I've even got a safe deposit box that's filled with 1 million, just in case.
Just in case.
Wow.
Just in case.
There's a few people out there like that, though.
Yeah, I bought into Vietnam currency and a few others, and
Yeah.
they're not going down; they're just not going up.
Right.
But if they do revalue,
Sure.
I'm buying dinner.
Yeah. But you had a friend tell you, and so you did it.
So I bought into it. And here's the thing: like when, what was the stock?
Alibaba?
Alibaba. Thank you. So close.
BABA.
When that came out, I bought it, and I bought Snapchat, and I bought a few of these, and they're like, "Why are you doing that? What if they don't go up?" Like my son said, "Hey, Alibaba's terrible. Snapchat's never going to go up." I said, "This is going to force me to watch it and monitor it and learn from it."
Yeah.
So partially, I just did it to learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what it's all about.
Like
Is it just a trend, or is it going to be big? And I want to understand it, because I believe if you know history, you can know the future.
So you studied history and you got involved with Snapchat, Alibaba, Bitcoin, all these nuances into this new wave or new era, I should say. What have you learned so far? You said you got in to study and to learn, to experience. Yeah. What have you seen? Were you right with
what's the takeaway?
What your predictions were? Or?
I have learned. This goes back to the theme. I wrote a book on mentoring, and that we need strategic advisors, and that I'm glad I have smart people around me that can advise me, because you can only learn. I can only learn. I shouldn't speak for anyone else. So much about so many things before you kind of top out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that's when I want a subject matter expert to come in, like a financial planner or someone who is savvy in that area. Mm-hmm. I'd be looking to you guys for some of these thoughts on financial trends, because that's what you do.
Right.
It doesn't mean I'm going to believe everything, but I'm going to take that data in as experts, probably accept 70 to 80%, and then feel how much I want to go up to 100.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, let's dive into what you are the subject matter expert of.
Oh, what is that?
Workforce. Workforce.
Work is
so,
awesome.
I mean, part of IR4, we're talking about artificial intelligence. What does the future 10, 20 years look like down the road? There's a lot of people out there scared about robots taking their, South Park, they took our jobs. I mean, is that going to happen, Andy? What's your thoughts on, just give me 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road.
And we have a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs that watch this podcast. So
they want to know.
I guarantee they want to know too. And there's outsourcing and a whole bunch of different things to look at, this workforce component.
I'll tell you what, I've been fascinated by that thought of singularity. And I sat down with a tech expert who I really respect. I think he's a very balanced mind last week. And I said, Chris, what do you think about that? The words weren't even out of my mouth. And he said, absolutely. I went, what do you mean by absolutely? He said, what don't you understand about absolutely? I said, really? I like robots and artificial intelligence will become so intelligent, it'll be more intelligent than the megahertz of our brain, because we have brain megahertz, right? And computers are measured on megahertz, and they're going to surpass the meatware will be surpassed by the software, right?
Okay.
So what does that mean long term? I don't have any idea, but hey, the Tower of Babel, I mean, we tried to reach the sky and reach God, I guess it was, and all of a sudden the languages all changed. I don't know how that happened or what happened there, but it's interesting. I wonder if it should happen, but maybe it won't happen.
So we get so far that some kind of shift.
Who knows?
Yeah.
We
stop using electricity.
Maybe we just go back to basics. Or, what changes everything is a war. Not that I'd ever hope for one.
Sure.
But we plan and we go toward a certain objective, and then a war happens. And we haven't had a big one probably since maybe Vietnam, where everybody in somebody's family is affected. And that's not to diminish the other wars at all, the sub-wars. But as work goes, I like to live more in the present. I'm a planner, so I can get so focused on 20, 30 years, and I love that. I love dreaming. But well, what's going to affect this year and next year? Because that's where most people live.
Yeah.
And even back to the Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency, how do we get people to use it? And it's probably to look at what's going on right now, and does that matter to what's going on in people's lives right now? So I have a top 10 list of what I think culture is going to look like at work. And that's the stuff I get excited about because it's kind of predicting the future. It's getting people ready for what's next. And I believe that when people get trust and they get value from helping them figure out what's next, around the corner, as I hear people put it, and they can level set and get better, then they want to hear about other stuff that might be further down the road.
Well, what's this list?
Yeah, so I've got this,
Is it this one?
extraordinarily large board that's going to take Jeremy out of the conversation.
The first,
I'm gone.
well, maybe first prop ever brought to the IR4 podcast.
You're the man.
I love it.
You're the man. You did this just for us.
I love it.
It's not level.
Oh, shoot. You're right. Is that better?
Come on, Jeremy.
That looks really good. Okay. You've got a future in this.
You got a future.
Sign holding.
So, we're talking about the fourth industrial revolution.
Yeah.
And these aren't exact terms, but, work 1.0 was we were all farmers and we were...
This is close. Yeah, this is
It's
amazing.
like
all those
working
types of
for
things.
ourselves, essentially.
Sure, right on.
Living off the land.
Yeah, so it was...
You care about feeding your family.
I mean, for
That's
what,
more or less it.
95% of history? That's the way we were. I mean, even work 2.0, which is the industrial revolution, and we're still kind of wrestling with all that because it worked so well. It was such a transformation.
So we're kind of right here, you're saying.
Well, we are. Well, it depends on the company you have.
Oh, okay.
I would say, as we work these through companies, and we work with some companies that are way over here, and they're figuring out almost what 4.0 is going to be.
Wow.
And there's other companies that are still back in what I call the World War II era, command and control. It's factory era.
Now, is that tailored for the certain industry that you're in, or
no? This is macro. So, great question. Work 2.0 is basically, if you want to summarize it up, you create followers. You're a dynamic leader. You're the smartest guy in the room, and everyone needs to follow you. And we're going to say, yes, sir. I will follow you wherever you want to go. And Work 3.0 is saying, there's a whole new generation out there that's educated, connected, 10 seconds from learning it on a YouTube if they need to learn it. So there are these dynamics at play. And it's fun to go through it. I'll just use a few of these as an example. There used to be you go to work because you want a paycheck.
Sure.
I need to earn some damn money, man. I better go to work.
Right.
Right. I owe, so off to work I go. But now people are willing to give up $5,000. It used to be people would say, why'd you change that job? Man, I'm getting another $5,000.
Yeah.
Now people are changing jobs and they're saying, why are you changing jobs? Well, I got more purpose at this one. But do they pay? No, I'm actually making $5,000 less. Like, what? So parents,
I can see that.
Parents of these children think they've lost their minds.
Yeah.
So is this more millennials over here then?
I would say it's much more the under 35 crowd. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yep.
the work 3.0.
They want a compelling purpose. And I use the example that I don't care what your factory is or what your product service is, but if you are getting clean water somehow or sewer system in Africa or in the inner city of the city you live in, but we happen to be a real estate mortgage company.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're a real estate mortgage company. I just knew about the houses you help out with in downtown Atlanta, downtown Nashville.
That's awesome.
Pretty cool. So, right, they want a mentor, not a boss. I mean, I don't
That's
know
the
about
big one, yeah.
anybody that really wants a boss.
No one. Yeah,
We want to be the boss,
Right.
But people want a mentor. They want somebody to put their arm around them a little bit and say, how are you doing today?
Right.
Yeah.
What can I help you figure out? How can I
Right.
support you? And this one's big, micromanage versus freedom leading. And people see freedom leading, they're like, I can't give people that much freedom. I say, well, then you hired the wrong people.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, if Jeremy or Brian, we were all working together and I felt like I had to monitor you all day long.
Then you didn't, because
Man.
you hired me wrong, because I should be doing it on my own.
Right.
Yeah. In business, we talk about
that's
printing
huge,
20s or
man.
printing hundreds.
Yeah.
And in all of our respective jobs, we need to be printing hundreds. I'd go thousands, but our highest, denomination's
Sure.
Yeah.
100.
Unless you work with cryptocurrencies, but
See, you go there and you can keep going
now
up.
we're in work 4.0.
We used to have 100,000, didn't we? And then we had a
We
10,000.
did have 100,000
But
before,
because
Yeah.
of
Woodrow
counterfeiting.
Wilson on the 100,000.
Is that who's on it?
Yeah.
Woodrow.
Good old Woodrow.
Yeah.
I want to give you a compliment really quick while we're here.
I'll take two if you have.
Because number one, you've been one of my mentors, so thank
Oh.
you for that, by the way.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
I think it's mutual, but you're
Absolutely.
welcome.
Secondly, I love how you approach most things in life from a abundance mindset rather than a scarcity mindset. And I think most people...
It's part of that being dropped on your head as a kid, I think.
But that's okay. That's okay, because most people, when you talk about freedom at the workspace, they're like, what? Ultimate freedom to my employees. They could just go rampant. But, I mean, think about all the creativity that could get done, all the work that could be done with just pure freedom and no work schedule.
Right.
I haven't had a work schedule, like, in years. I don't even know what that would look like. I'd make whatever time I want, whenever I want. I do the work. I mean, I have schedules of this is what I do, but I select that.
Right.
But that's an abundance mindset. Most people, I would argue, have a scarcity mindset, and that's huge, Andy. It's massive.
I think you're exactly right. And it's what's interesting is in the unicorn companies, unicorn being they went to $1 billion fast.
And you
within,
worked with some of these.
5 years. I have,
Yeah.
and I got to tour a few of these out in Silicon Valley. I'd never been to Silicon Valley. I've always been interested to go. So I was out there two falls ago, so exactly 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I can't tell you the company, but I remember standing in this one company. They did the Google Glass, so it's all about Google Glass, and they were a supplier, not Google Glass, but it was probably a 5,000 square foot office. There must have been 100 people in there, and I remember standing there. I said, "Can I take a photograph?" And they're like, "No." I said, "I understand." So I said, "Can I just hang out in here for like 5 minutes?" And I was so fascinated at how they were doing work. And I can tell you more, but just going down the freedom road, what I was looking for was who's supervising all these people? And they're almost all at stand-up cubicles.
Yeah, type of thing, right.
There was no room to sit. It takes up more room. And I was just, again, fascinated. And they were almost like ants. Like, who's running this team? I don't see a king, queen, ant, but there obviously must be. But I think they just hired people that loved the vision, and were working through the vision, and they had clear roles and goals.
Roles and goals, man.
So take ownership.
I have a question on this board. I'm recognizing the employee chooses you, not you choosing the employee.
That's huge. It's
crazy,
how can business owners or small business owners, entrepreneurs, innovators who are looking to hire people, how can they be more appealing to the potential employee instead of trying to go out and outsource?
Great question.
The first part of that, I'm almost dumbfounded that we even have to ask. Like, I used this example the other day because when I go into a company and people say, and I say, hey, one of the keys to making a great company is you have to learn to connect with your employees. You have to learn to have one-to-one meetings. And they're like, what do I do in a one-to-one meeting? What do we talk about?
Do I bring almonds for a snack?
It's humanity. You're putting the human element back into play. I love it.
I asked him, I said, are you married? I said, yes. And I said, did you need rules on how to date? Like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
You see someone you're attracted to, you just naturally talk to them, and you're a little nervous, sure, and then you work it out. But it's similar. And so with a company, how do you make your company attractive? Like, how did you make yourself attractive to that person? Like, a company is not much different than an individual. So what are your best attributes, and are you putting them on display?
That makes sense.
We're all connected to the company Label Live. She's sitting in their offices.
That's right, here right now.
They do a great job of, you come here and, hey, have you ever been here before? And if you haven't, what's the first thing they do?
Show you a tour. Yeah.
You get a tour.
That's right.
Right? Yeah. And so it's, I think, being proud of your company and proud of who you are as a leader and showcasing it, putting it on display.
Yeah, well played.
And
That's
then
a good point.
I think what people, back to this purpose piece down into the company, people want to know, what's the purpose of your company? Like, are you just in the real estate mortgage business? Is that what we do? And we do the best real estate mortgages, and how are they better? Are we just the cheapest? Are we the best quality? What are we? What's our point of difference? What's our value proposition? It's basic stuff, But the big thing I do when I work with companies, they say, well, what's your mode of operation? I say, well, how much time do you work in your business versus how much time do you spend working on your business? So I help people work on their business. It's like making yourself better. You go to the gym, you work out, you read books, whatever you want to do. It's that kind of time, and we just don't do enough of that in our world. I don't think so. So that's my answer for that one, and I think this is just a big paradigm shift.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Big ego, humility.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we'd love to are you selling the person on why they want to work there? Or just like, hey, we might let you interview twice.
Right.
Prove to us you want to. And this
Right.
person's like, no, why don't you prove to me I want to come back?
Right,
Sure.
exactly.
And then we call those people entitled.
Yeah.
Like,
right?
no, they're empowered.
Yes, exactly. Oh, that's it. I love that.
So-
Entitled, empowered.
So I got a big one for you, a big question. This is people related. So what is the difference, or what would make a company want to go down this road versus hire an automated service where they don't have to get employees? They can just automate everything. They can get robots to do all of it and make more money for themselves. Why go people route versus robot route?
My answer to that would be, if robots are going to achieve your mission better, then go robots. But if you need some flesh and blood, I think you go people. I always remember when Amazon came to market, everyone said brick and mortar is going away.
Mm-hmm.
And to some degree it has.
Yeah, to a degree.
To a degree. But my wife and I drove to the mall. I live in Atlanta. We drove to Lenox Mall Saturday night just to pick something up. We couldn't get a parking space. It was like 20 minutes to get in and out of this mall. I'm like,
Slammed.
that's with all this internet technology and
Right.
you can buy the tip of a finger? I'm amazed by it. So I just remember Amazon and how that became such a big deal. And I thought, man, Barnes & Nobles are going to go away. And to some degree, some of the bookstores have consolidated, but Barnes & Noble's still cooking. I know they're in trouble a little bit financially, but people still, we want to be connected. How many people walk into Starbucks and you just see them like writing their book or they're reading and they're doing their work, but they just want to be around people.
Yeah.
So I don't know to what degree that's always going to matter, but let's hope it matters enough to keep us around.
Sure. No,
I just
totally.
think what's going to happen, like with computers, like, okay, I'm old enough to remember that when the industrial era was ending, Carter was the president. It's way back. And it's like, I know, you were probably born there. And we all thought, I was in college, and we all thought, man, what are we going to do for jobs? Like, there's nothing.
Yeah.
And about 2-3 years later, the microchip
Boom.
became big.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's a microchip? Well, we all found out, and it scaled fast.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think we might be headed into this automation, more of an automated era, where the industries will just change. I don't know if robots will be building robots. I mean, maybe they will be, but I still think humans are going to have to write either software or firewall technology or whatever it might be.
Well, I think, and I think we've discussed this on sidebar comments, but I think if we can automate the monotony of some of the things people don't enjoy doing, I mean, there's people who are making millions and millions of dollars just by filming their life and vlogging on YouTube, and Instagram models, and or Instagram people who take pictures of food, and I mean, there's ways of making monetary substance through the delivery of your content. But get out there and create and and have some ownership, and maybe. I believe find what is your passion, what really makes you go, what is your purpose in life, and then figure out where you can fit into the mix. Is there companies? If there's not, and if there's not a company, start one.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that was my next question. Was we look at the employees being attracted to the company. Employees are the ones seeking it out. So like. And I'm not really saying, LinkedIn and like Monster.com and all these job services are going to die, but obviously there's some change going on. We're talking about the paradigm shift. Do you see any good business opportunities? Anything where there's a demand that really, and the need's not there yet?
On recruiting or hiring or something?
Maybe that was just an example. Okay. Or another place
it's so inefficient. Recruiting is so inefficient.
I feel like it is. Like ZipRecruiter. I mean,
all ZipRecruiter does, nothing against ZipRecruiter, but all they do is post. Mm-hmm. And they have some algorithms where they can help you, weed through. If you say, hey, I really want somebody with this number of years of experience, and they're going to kick everyone out that doesn't demonstrate that on their resume. I get it. But
entry level with 3 years experience kind of thing.
If culture is a huge trend right now. In fact, this board is a lot about culture. Work 3.0 is we spend 85% of our time at work. Might as well make it enjoyable.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
So in the same scenario, what's it going to look like is we just keep powering forward. And culture is what is really attracting an employee. So how does a website weed out whether I think you're going to fit in my culture?
Right. We should reverse engineer that process and make it more potential employee is the one going in and finding the different companies that they may want to work for. Refining, filtering.
So it's like jet.com.
I've never been on jet.com. What's jet.com?
Oh my goodness.
Solid.
Is it?
So
Walmart bought them.
Didn't Walmart just spend ridiculous money?
Yeah, if you bill, no biggies.
What is it?
So do you know?
Yeah,
so
lecture.
So jet.com, I need to know. It's like a small down version of Amazon where it does online retail, right? I'm talking about the right one. And they've made the searching really, really efficient. They've made the way you scale really efficient. And the more you buy, the more you save. And it's super, super simple just to go through and figure out what you want. But it bases like...
Well, yeah. And part of the uniqueness is you bid. It's like reverse bidding. So they're going to bid what they can sell something for and go out to the manufacturers and say, who can produce this or sell this for this price?
Nice.
It's crazy. I mean, it's so simple when you think about it.
Yeah.
But innovative.
Walmart bought that
like
real
it.
quick.
But that's what you're thinking. Like
Right.
I would post, I'm looking for a job, and I would post, I'm looking for this type of culture. And I would assume the companies have to be that intelligent.
To know what their culture is.
Right,
Yeah.
because Work 3.0, the biggest theme of 3.0 is adaptive decision-making teams. Everyone's a decision maker, not just one gal, one guy who's the smartest person on the team. Because that's the way it used to be. One person had a degree, so they should be the officer.
Right.
Everyone else is uneducated.
And then you tell them what to do, and they're the worker bees, and you go do this, and you go do that. And if you don't go do that, you're fired.
Well, you brought up, Brian, a great point. So now everyone's pretty much got a bachelor's degree, so they're kind of void and null. So what does that mean? You need a master's, you need a doctorate. But now all these articles are coming out how expensive education is, how it's putting that bachelor's degree person into bondage, if you will. It's this rich dad, poor dad, right? Poor dad was the guy's real dad that had the doctorate degree.
Yeah, that's true.
Rich dad was the guy that had the high school degree, his buddy's father, who was kind of his dad.
Around.
And he was the rich guy.
That's a good point. Very good point.
Well, and don't get me wrong, I definitely think going to college is important if you want to be a lawyer or a doctor.
I think there's a need for it.
There's a professional degree. Our son's going to be an architect, so he's going to school for that.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
But there's a very small window. Like if you don't want to be a doctor, nurse, if you don't want to work in the healthcare field, medical field, or legal
It's
field.
like the bell curve started to go down, and we're realizing
I think the bell curve needs to be like this.
you need plumbers and engineers and people that don't necessarily need the professional degree.
Very small bell curve.
Well,
Because there's a lot of those already. A lot of people that have the degrees.
And you know why I think it's also fascinating? I was talking to this guy creating this blockchain company, actually. And the point of that network, the decentralized network, is that all these professors at Carnegie Mellon, Harvard,
MIT,
they're uploading their content, their professional content into their network, and people can come in and purchase and pay for that content and learn.
That's crazy.
And you know what? You're getting the same content that student who's paying
hundreds of thousands
of dollars a year to get the same thing, but you're paying, a monthly subscription of $50, and you can have access to all this different content.
It's amazing. The whole education. People will say the education system needs to change. We were talking. We almost off camera. We were going down that road a little bit. That the education system needs to change, and I think it is changing. Right. Like and now instead of schools, I think at some point you're going to have like community gathering spots where you go, okay, guys, let's just get as a community and just watch this person's topic on hopefully the stock market. Or finance, or culture,
we're already seeing an emergence of that with TED Talks.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's for adults. I think we need to make that for kids. And
I think that'd be cool.
It's changing.
I think they're already doing it on their own. Maybe not the community gathering, the town hall type of thing, but
on Facebook Live.
They're doing it by themselves. Correct.
They are.
Correct.
They are. And I always say knowledge is power. So the more you know, the more power you have.
Absolutely.
Do you think there's a cutoff on the millennial? Is there? I'm not sure as far as the time frame you had to be born between this year and this year. Is there a cutoff as to what the next generation is? I'm trying to get prepared.
Well, we call them millennials and centennials. So centennials are under 21 years old.
Oh, wow.
Centennials.
So here's a question for you. You know, there's basically 4 generations right now. So you have boomers.
Gen
there's
X,
more, but
millennials.
sorry for the greatest that are listening to this. But, just saying the biggest ones in the marketplace today. Boomers, Gen X, Gen Y, or millennials, and then Gen Z, or centennials.
Okay.
What do you think the number one populated generation is in fast food restaurants, especially Chick-fil-A?
Gen Y?
No.
Don't tell me baby boomers.
Mm-mm.
Gen X?
Nope.
Millennials?
No.
Well, then
So it's none of the
I'm
four.
up.
It's
Wait,
none-
did you say Z?
Which one's Z?
Z's the centennials.
I said centennials.
Maybe you did. Maybe I heard
I said
millennial.
centennials. I didn't say Z.
Let's go back. Yes. That's it.
Edit that out.
Ding, 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 ding. So under 21 years old are the most employed people at Chick-fil-A retail. Maybe all fast food. I don't know.
That breaks my heart.
But here's the other thing, though.
So that generation's already important.
They were already born. They were born in the 2000s, bro. 2000, 2001. Think about that for a
Yeah,
second.
but think of...
They're working now.
And they were probably born with a phone or an iPad in their hand.
Big time.
So imagine the technology that they can go, this is inefficient, this is inefficient. They're going to be cranking out so many technologies.
But they're sitting at Chick-fil-A right now. And now listen, I'm all for... I got a job when I was 13 years old.
Yeah, that's what
Teaching work ethic and everything's
Absolutely.
great.
Yeah.
But let's get some of those kids out and moving. Get something...
Okay.
Don't go to college. I mean, go to college. I'm
I
very
can-
hypocritical here in this podcast.
No, you can't get it.
Do you have a degree?
I do, in mathematics.
Okay. All right.
But you can't get in trouble for saying don't go to college for at least a few years. I mean, you can't get in trouble for saying it at all. I'm a huge believer in not going to college.
I believe find your passion.
Know
If
what you wanna
there's
do.
a degree for it.
Yes.
Great.
Go find it.
Go find
Yes.
it.
If it and like we said earlier, if it's not out there,
There's
the
probably
solution,
not out there.
Start a company.
I do a fair amount of career coaching. It's just a passion of mine, and I love having that conversation. And I have always said, well, should I go to college? People might ask. And I said, well, what do you want to do? Like our second oldest went to Syracuse. He's going to study architecture. He got bored with it in a few weeks.
Syracuse.
Yeah.
Coached college lacrosse at Lemoyne.
Come on.
Yeah.
Right next door.
Yeah.
You played lacrosse, didn't you?
Rugby.
Rugby. That's
Rugby.
right. Sorry.
All right.
And we
I knew
beat
you were-
people up. We didn't use clubs to beat people up.
Well, and you guys didn't wear. You still don't wear equipment. That's much more
That's
of a violent
crazy.
sport.
They're both nuts. You need equipment if you have a club in your hand.
Yeah.
And he, after a couple of weeks, said, I don't really want to do it anymore. And it was his lifelong dream, and he's really good at it.
Yeah.
And so he went off onto photography. He wanted to try something different. And he said, are you disappointed? I said, not at all. I said, if you know what you want to do, you don't need college. So he went out to Colorado, tried pursuing photography, and really did an amazing job. And then started to realize, yeah, I think I want to get my degree because I still know what I really want to do, and I'm not making a ton of money at it.
Mm-hmm.
So I always say, if you don't have anything better to do, get a degree by all means,
Sure,
because
sure.
it's not going to hurt you.
It's not going to be a downside.
Unless we go rich dad, poor dad route
Yeah.
where it kind of boxes your thinking in. But that's another story for another day.
Yeah.
And now he's all the way back to Georgia, and he's going to be going to yet his next school. He's all the way back to architecture because now he realizes after he's been out in the real world for a while, hey, you know what? That's not a bad idea. I'd like to have that architecture degree.
Sure.
And if I decide
But
to
I
use
know.
it, I will. If I decide not to,
At least I have it.
yeah, right on.
I love it. All right. So, Andy, final thoughts. 60 seconds or less. Tell the people what's on your mind. What do you think? What's just a good overwrapping
Man, that's a big
Christmas
question.
box bow?
Give me a topic. Give me a lane. My brain goes so wide.
You do have a, but not your head. You have a very nice little
Oh,
head.
my
It's not- you don't have
goodness.
a wide head. Okay, so
I mean, my brain is on the whole work thing, and that's where I spend a lot of my time.
topic then.
You know, but
finding a mentor.
oh, I'm a huge fan of that. I will say the sales pitch for finding a mentor is ask yourself this question. Who is it that helped me get to where I am today? Like when I was a teenager or early 20s, was there someone that helped me, had a significant impact on my life?
Mm-hmm.
And who is that person? Parent, aunt, uncle, coach in school, teacher, maybe it was a mentor. And almost every person, when I do this, when I speak, raise your hands. And people will say, yes, indeed, I have. And they can name the person. And say, all right, now, most people are over 21 in the audience. If they are, how many people now? Raise their hands. And like nobody has a mentor. Like, what is the deal with that?
Yeah.
So show of hands, no mentors. And usually what happens is after 21, people kind of leave you alone. Like we're used to.
Yeah. 18 and there you go.
Yeah. So my statement to that is like, well, all these pro athletes have mentors and coaches, and the president,
Yeah.
whoever at that time is president, has
Advisors?
15 cabinet members and
Yeah.
dozens of advisors. So why are you either so special that you don't need it, or why aren't you special enough to be intentional to find one?
Right.
Or find a few of them. You know,
Totally with
I like
that.
subject matter experts. Like if you need to have a mentor in coaching, get a mentor in finance, then get a mentor in finance.
Yeah.
You know, if it's
All for that.
if it's vision and technology and what's next, find a Brian and say, man, can we meet once a month?
Find a
and I
Brian.
just pick your brain. You know?
Anytime. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it's something more baseline, like like I want to get in shape, hire a coach, hire a trainer, right?
Yeah,
hire
hire me.
right here, Tom Hanks. Come on.
Tom
If you want a
Hanks.
phenomenal beard.
Well, I know for sure. Once maybe Jeremy and I move down with some of our ventures. I know certainly with my own companies and my ventures, we're coming to you with coaching and workforce. How can people get in
Wait,
contact?
can you
with
sign this right now that you're going to commit to that?
That's right. How can people go ahead and how can people get in contact with you, Andy?
Do you have a website?
AndyChristiansen.com.
Got
Probably the best way through the company is capacity7.com.
Okay.
Capacity7.com.
Yeah, that's our website.
Awesome.
Thanks very much for being here.
Very
man.
insightful.
Keep up the good work, guys.
Yes,
Appreciate
you
your
were
Changing
time.
lives.
You were awesome. Appreciate it, man.
Making brain waves.
For everyone else out there, thanks so much for tuning in to this podcast session. You are absolutely amazing people. Keep being incredible. And until next time, love, live, learn. We'll see you later.